Hey everybody, this is the Kanye West news roundup for Monday, August 20th, 2018, dating back to, I don't know, Thursday, August 16th, 2018. So we got a range of things to cover. And I think we're skipping Kanye's Twitter today, as that would just extend the length of the video. We'll come to that tomorrow as we catch up with the weekend news. So starting off, if you're a shoe fan, business fan, Kanye and business fan, there's an article for Forbes. Recording artists have surpassed athletes' influence on the sneaker reselling markets. And this article by Ray Witt goes through a lot of the history of the transition from, or the rise of the athletes influencer to the artist influencer and Kanye's role in that. So that's an article for you if you like that kind of shit. Next, this is a cool video. Saint, there's a Kanye song playing and Kim says, "Who's singing that? Who's singing?" And he just goes, "Daddy." Which, what an adorable little guy. And then Aretha Franklin had passed away, and this was just a testament or a recognition of the brief collaboration that the two had when Kanye sampled Aretha on School Spirits. One of the cool things about this, she wouldn't clear the sample unless Kanye didn't cuss on the song, which is why the album version of School Spirit has no swearing. Yeah. Moving on, Genevieve, there's still a little time to try to win this awesome one-of-a-kind painting that she did. All you have to do is retweet this and follow her on Instagram and Twitter, and you could win. 2 days remaining, so get your opportunity in. 257 retweets, so you got pretty good odds, you know? Wave had another replay of the listening party. This was more relevant last week when I think it was still a thing that was happening. Yeah. You might still be able to watch. Or it might just be a minute long. But if you want a recap of some of the highlights, I guess this is the best that we can get. But it does bring back a lot of awesome memories, just kind of seeing the video again, right? As my face just goes into shadow and brightens back up. There's been some controversy around the song Ecstasy that was originally supposed to be on Ye, wasn't on Ye. And then when it finally just dropped randomly, because Kanye was hanging out with DJ Gotham, I forget what the guy's name is, and they released it. It has the line, "You got sick thoughts, I got more of them. You got a sister-in-law you would smash, I got 4 of them." Which the song, as part of the darker, more manic, ego-driven, not supposed to say the things that you're saying, opening salvo of Ye, the lyrics make sense, but because the song came out outside of the album, a lot of people were taking it more serious than what I think Kanye initially intended it. And the Kardashian sisters all just said, or according to the source, I mean, they could have said nothing. But if we're relying on sources, that none of the sisters have said anything about being mad about it, and none of them are ever surprised by anything Kanye says or does. I mean, I think they get to hear all of the artistic shit that he talks about behind the scenes that we never get to hear. His intentionality with the song. I'm sure he talks about it with Kim, who then is like, this is what Kanye means. So I imagine that his explanation for it and the thematic purposes and narrative purposes that line would serve probably had them just going, okay. Like, okay. Kanye West launches digital Yeezy sneaker archive. So if you go to the Yeezy site right now, you can see kind of the history of the shoes and all the shoes that were once available. So if you click, this is it. You can kind of see 350, the V2s, which I still want all of these fuckers, the 500s, 700, I still want that. The 750, I'm not a boot guy. I don't think I'd be happy if I had them, but I wouldn't go out of my way to get them. And Power Phase is the one Kanye shoe where I'm just like, like I don't really need to wear that. This is just a romper.com article. Kanye West most telling quotes about fatherhood show that he's Kanye all the time. So if you just want to read a compilation of Kanye quotes about being a parent, this is the one that you would want to read. And it mentioned, was it this one? Now, I don't even know why I brought this up, but there was an article that had talked about Kanye's Paper Magazine interview from 2015 where he was on the cover. Yo, I actually looked this up on eBay because I thought I should get that. I should frame it. I should hang it right back here. So every time I do a video, people could be like, oh shit, that looks nice. I want that. And it's like $75 for this magazine on eBay. I don't think you can find anywhere else. But if you have a copy of this that you don't want, I'll take it. But this is an article that Kanye wrote. So if you want to read this and just get some cool insight into Kanye, the link's going to be down below. I should actually do a video that's just going over this article and comparing what he was saying in 2015 to all the context we have about Kanye today and now. Kim Kardashian shows off 24-inch waist in easiest photo shoot. I didn't have to suck it in. And the only reason I'm showing this is because Kim gets into a part down here where she talks about signs from the spirit world all around us. When my dad was sick with cancer, we were laying out by his pool, and I said, if you die, you have to come back in the form of a bird. We were driving on the freeway right before his funeral, and this huge flock of birds flew over the 101. Everyone stopped because it was so crazy looking. I was like, there you are. And to this day, she and West honor their parents through bird watching. Kanye and I always reference birds. We seem to see a lot of black crows. While on the set of the particular photo shoot, she said she saw one and wished she took a photo to show West. Yesterday, Kanye took a picture of the two black crows that are always at our house and always together. We always say that they are our parents hanging out together at our house. So I just think this gives a little bit of insight into not just their relationship dynamic, but superstitions that Kanye has that are humanizing, I think relatable, and something that maybe wasn't known up until this very point. And just kind of nice. I know when my dad died, I was 20. And my mom, for the next 5 years until she passed away, took a lot of comfort and solace in seeing single birds that kind of flew up to the window to check in on her. She also felt that connection, a sign that the bird was something, maybe not my dad, but had some connection to the spirit world. Also with finding pennies, as her name was Penny. So she liked to think that it was my dad leaving something for her. I don't have any superstitions like that. I think I'm a bit more practical about death, which maybe would be nice if I did, but I do think it's nice that they have that to share between them and find some comfort in it. And then Kanye's just taking pictures of crows to send to Kim. Sweet. Virgil Abloh thinks you missed the point of Kanye West's sandals. Yo, I actually fucking love this look. I love the color combination, especially keep in mind that they're at a wedding in Miami, in a mansion in Miami. And Miami's so known for that kind of Tony Montana, was that his name? Tony Montana? Scarface, drug dealer chic, Miami Vice look, that this feels kind of appropriate for a Miami wedding. I mean, look at the guy in the background right there. Like, that's shorts and shoes and a t-shirt. That's at the wedding? I mean, it seems very casual. I saw that people were complaining like, how could you wear that to a wedding? But fashion is fashion, right? And if you're just wanting people to show up in their like fashionable looks, I think that this to whatever, to a tux, all kind of works. And the fact that this is a mint outfit with Kim's lime green, and I'm all about the sandals. I think the sandals actually, I don't know, I think they add something strange. I mean, they don't look as nice as dress shoes, right? And that kind of classic James Bond style, like having that well-cut suit and the shoes is an on-point look. But I think that there's just something cool about this and something daring. And Virgil Abloh said the same thing. He said, where is it? The artistic director of Louis Vuitton Men says, if you're focusing on West sandals, you're missing the point. That was the most important outfit of recent memory, Abloh says, noting that the combination of the couple's color palettes and all the attention the photo has gotten made him love fashion again. Which, that seems kind of weird that the director of Louis Vuitton Men's is not loving fashion right now. You would hope that the guy that just got the job and had it for even a year would be on a fashion high and just loving the fashion world, not being like, I've hated it for years, oy vey. It gave me hope after all the oversaturation of fashion where every 2 weeks there's a new it shoe. I don't know how this is different than there being a new it shoe, but the brand West was wearing were everywhere, but there was no identifiable brand. So Abloh likes you didn't readily know West wearing a Louis Vuitton suit or that the slides were Adidas. I feel like most suits don't have identifying marks. Like, I feel like most Versace suits don't have a giant V. Or maybe I'm dumb and there's little details on a Versace suit. But the suit that Kanye's wearing, legitimately, you can't see it here. And I don't think my zooming in is going to do any good. But he has little markings on the fabric of the suit that are Louis Vuitton markings. So I appreciate what Virgil's saying here, but I'm not sure what he's saying here. He and I are fans of fashion and obviously self-taught. We both got to a place where we're able to make these things and make them in our image. And to me, the image is as important as all of the black women on the September covers. He adds, noting that while the uptick in diversity is obviously amazing, but shouldn't be a novelty. Further, Abloh notes that both pieces West wore were made by black designers. That's crazy advanced, he says. I think when people focus on something as small as a sandal, they might lose the bigger picture. Our heads are down and we're creating. We've been trailblazing since before. I mean, this is trailblazing. And I do agree with Abloh that this is one of the most daring looks I've seen off the runway in a public space that's not just like over the top peacocking. We're like, okay, that's clearly absurd. I think this is an outfit that kind of works, looks fly, and is going to have some ramifications on what people do. I'm thinking about Jaden Smith's Batman outfit. I don't think the white Batman outfit that he wore to Kanye and Kim's wedding was in the same vein as this. Like, that was over the top, crazy, not going to influence much. This is better. At least less dramatic. Kim Kardashian gets a lift and a butt pat from Kanye West after 2 Chainz's wedding. Yeah, so Kim couldn't actually step into the car, given the height of it. So Kanye actually lifted her up and copped a feel. Good on him. Good on him. Oh, this was funny. Drake disses Kanye West on stage in Chicago, changes lyrics to Kanye flopped. So the lines are supposed to be, then Kanye dropped, it was polos and backpacks. But he changed it to saying, then Kanye flopped, it was polos and backpacks. And apparently the crowd could be heard booing in response. I saw people debating online that they weren't booing to that. They were booing something else, so they weren't booing at all. I don't know. But I like to think they were booing. It's just crazy to me that Drake, after all of this, is just taking little shots still. I mean, he got his shots in on Scorpion. As far as I know, Kanye hasn't said or done anything back at Drake. But here he is doing this. And the reaction of the internet was pretty funny too. Most people were just like, shut the fuck up, Drake. Like, there's no point. You're avoiding Pusha T and still going after Kanye. Even when Pusha T called you out and was like, yo, don't talk about him, talk about me. Like, Drake's just now taking shots at the guy that publicly said, I'm not going to fight you or beef with you. I'm beyond that. So I guess this is a good test for Kanye. Like, all you got to do is speak on Ye. You know, hopefully no ego Kanye will just turn the other cheek. But, okay on Drake. Like, you do what you got to do if you want to be petty. And Kanye will do what he does. Kanye West Kid Cudi debut live Ghost Town at surprise show. So there was a birthday event for a party to celebrate Willow Perrin. And you can see some of the videos if you haven't seen them already. Team Kanye Daily had a bunch too. But it's them performing Father Stretch My Hands, Ghost Town, Can't Tell Me Nothing, I think was the other one. And something else. It was 4 tracks, I do believe. But we know that Kanye and Cudi are performing in November at the Camp Southpaw Magna. I don't remember the name of it, but they're performing there. And I feel like this is just kind of a dry run of being on stage, performing these songs together, getting used to each other's stage energy and stage presence and what they're going to do. It's kind of cool seeing them practice in this way at a very intimate show where they can kind of test things out and see how they're feeling, what they're thinking. This is a GQ piece. Does it matter what Kanye West thinks? And there's good and bad in this article. I think the good is that it gives an overview of other controversial figures throughout the years, especially figures that were thought more positive radical, then became more anti-left or more traditional in their views and caused uproar. And how people deal with that. Morrissey is the one that comes to mind. But you can also tell that Dorian Lynskey just hates Kanye and kind of looks at the most superficial aspects of what's going on. Like at one point, they say that we didn't realize that Kanye was as conservative as he is in his politics or something. And that comes from, what's really dismaying is not his new conservatism, but the astonishing ignorance, arrogance, and shallowness that underpins it. The way he slapped away the counsel of wiser friends. I don't take advice from people less successful than me. Shut out the protest of his fan base and run into the arms of people who, to coin a phrase, don't care about black people. Which just feels so problematic to me in the sense that it's not conservatism. Like Kanye hasn't come out for like conservative fiscal policies, conservative social policies, any conservative policies, right? Kanye has continued to state that his feelings towards Trump are apolitical and is more about Trump's campaign and the fact that Trump broke these barriers. The fact that this article doesn't even recognize that, but just assumes that there's a conservatism to Kanye's political views now is, I think, kind of upsetting. Or at least not journalism, right? Thorough journalism, good journalism. There's more to the conversation than what this person is painting it. And I don't take advice from people less successful than me. The context isn't necessarily about the Trump remarks. It's not about any of the things that he was saying on Twitter. It was a very broad subject. It could be fashion. It could be music. It could be what he's doing in his career. I mean, we might assume that some of it is the conversation with John Legend about politics, but then at that point, is John Legend less successful than Kanye? Would he be attacking one of his friends that publicly in that way, I think reading that line specifically that way is skewing it to fit an argument that's showing a kind of Kanye ignorance rather than other ways that the line might be interpreted that come off as less ignorant. And then shut out the protests of his fan base and run into the arms of people. Has he shut out the protests of his fan base? I don't know if that's necessarily a thing that he's done. He's continued to say that he supports people, that he cares about everybody, that this is something where he's just trying love rather than hate, and that he loves everybody. I don't see how that lines up necessarily with Morrissey being like, immigrants are awful people, immigrants are the worst, like, fuck immigrants. Like, what? And then they even put, Chris Rock hosted the Starry launch party in Wyoming, and many critics shoved the controversy to one side, like an embarrassing gatecrasher, in order to praise the bold and beautiful 7-track album. So this person can't even take a few seconds of pause to recognize that there are critics, fans, other musicians that think that this album is bold and beautiful, but undermines all of their opinions as saying that the album's, yeah, bold and beautiful. Like, this writer's opinion has more value than anybody else's. Like, fuck that. Fuck you. It upsets me so much. By foregrounding his mental health issues in the lyrics, West gave fans a convenient get-out clause. He's complicated. He's confused. What he said didn't really matter. And he didn't even need to apologize. In fact, his only regret on Would It Leave is that Kim Kardashian was upset the Fuhrer might fuck the money up. God forbid saying slavery was a choice might be bad for business. I mean, there's no consideration of the nuance of what was going on. The fact that Kanye has talked about being in a manic state when he arrived at TMZ, that, yeah, while the slavery is a choice line was something awful, that he hasn't apologized because it's not what he intended. He did apologize, saying that he knows that's not the case and that that wasn't what he was trying to say, and then clarifies that he's in this manic, ramped up bipolar state, or ramped up state that's part of his bipolar diagnosis, mental illness, and that things come out like Tourette's in that situation. Yeah, that doesn't necessarily excuse it, but I feel like if any of us were going through something similar, we'd want a little bit of leeway in the situation rather than just being viewed in the media in a very one-sided way of it. This isn't journalism to me. This is just a lazy think piece of somebody that has a trumped up opinion of their own views on subject matter. And then lastly, this is a picture that Kanye tweeted out, but I liked that, I don't know all that much about shoes, so I liked that the article shared some of the things. Like there was the off-white Nike Presto, the bombastic Balenciaga Triple S, and what appears to be the New Balance 990 V4. So I feel like that's one of those, and I don't know what the other one is. But you can see some cool things in this photo. There are a lot of palettes that we haven't seen yet, like these blue V2s that are right there, which look pretty awesome. And then some multicolored V2s that we haven't seen before, and some of the 700 colorways that we haven't gotten to see. Like, I'm excited for when these models of Yeezy get more and more palettes, especially as Adidas is ramping up production and investing more in the Yeezy. And that does it. If you could subscribe to the channel, that would be great. Trying to get to that 1,000 number, and slowly, I think growth has just stopped. But hopefully we'll get there within the year period that we need. Still got 6 months. But thank you for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Have a good night.